Hello and welcome to the transcription explanation of this design. It was done using Loren Sherman's script, which uses a combination of dots and lines on these 4 different stems to make our consonants, and the vowels are quite a bit trickier. They're these smaller circles, and they have different positions depending upon what vowel they are and if they're attached on one of these 4 stems. So this is all possible combinations of vowel-consonant teams, and let's take a look at this E for an example. So this is an E by itself on the line of the word circle. Then we have a deep divot with an E. And since it's got no modifiers, this would say like B, E. And then we have a circle inside the word circle with an E in it. So again, no modifiers, so J, E. And then we have a shallow divot with no modifiers, so that's a T, E. And then a circle on the line of the word circle, so a TH, E. So if this were to be read as a word, it would be like E, B, E, J, E, T, E, T, H, E. So ebijitithi. So now let's get to our actual design. So just like words, you read sentences bottom counterclockwise, and this outermost circle is our sentence circle, and it's where you'd put punctuation if there were any. But there isn't any, so let's not worry about that. So anyway, bottom counterclockwise, so this is our first word we hit, and this word, bottom of it, this is our first letter. And I overlapped some of the letters here, and I did some tricky lines and made the lines look like circles. But anyway, here's our first letter, and if we follow this, we've got to count up the lines that end on it, because lines that end on it count, but lines that pass through it don't count. So 1 line, 2 lines, 3 lines end on it. So circle inside the circle, 3 lines, that's an M. And then we have a little circle, so that's a vowel, and it's got a line going outwards, so that's a U. So M, U, continuing around the stem. Here we have a shallow divot, so it's this stem because it's 50% or less completed. It'd be this one if it were starting to turn back around on itself, but it doesn't. It stops right at 50%. So this is a shallow divot, and let's do that same thing where we count up lines that end on it. 1, 2, 3. Again, this looks like a curve because it is a curve, but it's just a line on that S. So 1, 2, 3. So that is an S. And then we have another small circle, so it's a vowel, and this line is going towards the middle of the word circle. So that would be an I. And then last but not least, we have this circle inside the word circle with 2 dots, so that's a K. So this would be music, and since the letter C is supposed to be used only in a proper noun or an acronym, you substitute the letter C with the letter K in music, because the C goes K, so you put a K here. So M-U-S-I-K, music. Continuing around, here's our next word. These are just lines from the M. This is just a line from the F, just a line from the M. Anyway, this is our word circle here. It's got a lot of stuff going on, but let's follow it. So here's our first stem. It's a deep divot. It goes more than 50% around. And count up the lines that end on it. 1, 2, 3. That is an F. Continuing around. Here we have a little circle, so it's a vowel, and it does have a line ending on it. So this line is going towards the middle. So that is an I. And then we have a double line. So this thick line and this thin line, they're both this stem. And since they're different thicknesses, they're different letters. So we read the thin one and then the thick one. This thin one has 3 dots, so that's an L. And then this thick one, 1, 2, 3 lines, so that's an M. So LM, so F-I-L-M. And then our last word, bottom. This is our first letter. And it is a shallow divot with 1 line. So that is a V. Continuing around. This is kind of tricky. I'm actually going to explain this real quick because in bigger words, you can stack word circles, and this outer word circle is a word circle, and this inner word circle is a word circle. We read outer to inner. And for things like vowels, so this is an O because it's inside the outer word circle, but this looks kind of like an O if you were looking at this word circle, but it's attached outside this word circle, so it's an A outside of it. So the difference between O's and A's are tricky when you're stacking stems. Stacking word circles. So anyway, this is not an O here, it's an A here. So this is just a V. So shallow divot, 1 line V. Continuing around all the way to here where we have the I line going towards the middle. And then we have a deep divot, because it breaks here, with 1, 2, 3 dots. So that's a D with an E in the middle of it, so like that. And then the O inside the word circle, like that. So video, and then we have a deep divot with 1 line. So that's a G. Then we have that A I was talking about earlier, outside that word circle. And then we hit the M, 1, 2, 3 lines on that M. Then here's the E. And last but not least, we have this shallow divot with 1, 2, 3. So this line really looks like a circle, but it's not. It's important that this line ends here and ends here and isn't a circle, because it's a line, one of the 1, 2, 3 lines on that S. So video games. So yeah, music, film, video games.